Hello everyone, it's Orsi from Women as Entrepreneurs, and today I have the opportunity to speak to Kate Tribe and introduce her to you. She's running a very successful business called Tribe Research, and I'd like to ask her first about your business. What do you do?
What do we do?
Yeah.
Tribe Research is a market and social research company, and essentially we design and conduct surveys, but to get customer feedback and that kind of thing. We work in the space of small business and government and health and community services, and I also run training on how to design a good survey. So we're a market and social research company.
Okay. I'm very curious how you got started. How did you become a woman entrepreneur?
So my story is a little bit different to most people. Most people have some...
I like your story.
Yeah. Most people have some, yeehaw moment where they're working full time and they're over it, and, they have an idea and they quit their job and they start their business. I've actually never worked full time for anyone. So I finished university, was working a few different part-time jobs, thought I need to develop into something, either go and get a full-time job or do my own thing. So I decided to do my own thing very early on. So I was 23 when I started the business, or something like that. So I then pretty much learned everything organically. Like, I thought, first off, I need to get some clients. So I worked around a very small network within the health sector at the beginning, because that was where my training was, and got a few clients in that space. And I converted some part-time jobs to consulting work. So I walked into a few places where I was working part-time and said, can I change this to being an arrangement where I invoice you instead? And then I could slowly start building a profile like that.
So it slowly happened.
It was very slow, yes.
And what about the business part of running a business? So
How
the
did I learn
research
that?
part was all there.
Yeah.
Your research knowledge, but what about the business knowledge? How did you?
A lot of that was quite slow as well. A lot of it was like gut instinct sort of things. And then I had a really good network of people that provided support earlier on. So in terms of like the financial side of things, my brother was an accountant, so I'd ring him up and ask him lots of questions. My dad was an executive in a large multinational, so I'd ring him and ask questions. I had a really good friend of mine who had a marketing background, so he and I would shout marketing things.
It's a lucky situation.
It was quite convenient, yeah.
So what about networking? And did you use the networking as a tool for creating a successful business?
Definitely. My grandfather actually was a big fan of not the term networking, but just living your life in what networking sort of is all about, really. And so
learning from each other.
That's right.
Also.
Yeah, and that if you give, you will receive, kind of mentality. And so from a fairly early time in the business, I took a long time to start going to formalised networking events, but a lot more of that was the fact that I was an introvert and I found it very intimidating. And it's one of the reasons why I was a very early adopter of social media, because I could sit at home and do social media before I had the confidence to
actually go out and network offline.
Yeah.
Can you learn that? Is this something that
absolutely,
people can learn?
Absolutely. And I think it's mostly making the most out of networking is mostly about the follow-up afterwards. And so I go to specific different types of networking. I go to specific different types of networking events. So I'll go to ones where I'll learn business skills. I'll go to ones where I'm networking with peers of where I think my business is at. I'll go to ones where I think I'm networking with people who are kind of above or ahead of me, and I'll go to ones where I can provide mentoring to other people or advice to other people.
Sounds very structured, planned.
It's not like
it's efficient use of your time.
That's
probably.
right. That's right. And so in that way, I form different types of networks, and also they use energy in different ways. Like, when you're going to networking events where you're networking up, then in a way you're being inspired. And when you're being educated, you're being inspired in different ways. So, and there's other events where you can walk into a room and you already know a whole lot of people. So it's in a way less draining for an introvert to network that way. So if I think, I haven't been out for a while, but I should go to something, but I'm actually kind of a bit tired and have a lot on, then I'll specifically go to something where I'll already know a lot of people, but I won't have seen them for a while. So then it's kind of like catch-up time rather than anything else.
I also know that you're very big on building a team.
Yes.
From your colleagues, and building a family from your colleagues, and I loved it. I just admired that. Can you please just tell us a bit about that, and what your motivation to do that?
Yeah. So when I started the business, and I had, a little bit after I quite started it, but when I started, was ready to start building a team, I started to hire university students, mostly from a financial reasoning, and also I really loved their energy. They had, no fear of saying what they thought and what they wanted, and they would turn up and be all fired up and those kinds of things. So I really loved it. And then also because they all could only work casually, I could build like having 4 casual students at any one time, and they would all come in on different days. So I would see them, but they might not all see each other on a regular basis. So sort of a few things happened concurrently that made the way the team works now happen. One of the other things that was happening at the same time was I learned a lot from reading business books, but you'd read a business book and you'd be so overwhelmed with all the ideas that you'd never put anything in place. So one of the things I did then was I started doing planning days, and I shut the business down twice a year and had a planning day, and I would pull everyone together and they would all see each other and spend a day together, and we'd discuss the business and plan. And then when a whole early group of that team left to go on to different jobs, they'd finished their degrees and they wanted full-time jobs, they said they wanted to stay in contact somehow. So we formed a past staff club, which is called TRX. And TRX members get a newsletter. So if one of my past staff now live in Melbourne, and when I popped down to Melbourne last year, I had dinner with him, and then like in the newsletter, I would give a little update. This is where Steve's at, this is what he's doing now. And similarly, I catch up with any of the ones that are in Sydney, do the same thing. So we have a regular newsletter that goes out. We have a picnic once a year. I give out awards at the picnic for anyone who's left what their lasting mark on Tribe Research is, and it's a little trophy. What else do we do? They are also, any past staff member is allowed to come to any future planning days. So they get told when planning days are on and they come along to it.
So they can still contribute.
They can still, absolutely, yeah. And I will get occasional emails from past staff that say, "Hey, I noticed you're doing this now. I saw something random. You might want to, read this article, or I thought you might be interested in this." I get like those emails quite often, which is great.
I think that's very cute. And the other reason I love it, because I think it's very feminine as well. I think women tend to we just feel more comfortable working in a place which we can call our family or our home.
That's right.
We feel that we need that.
And it also means like when we had some staff that left and moved to Canberra, and I already had some previous staff that were in Canberra, but they hadn't crossed over with each other, and so I introduced them. They all come to a Christmas party as well, the Christmas dinner. The year before last we had like 15 people at our Christmas dinner, but currently at the time had 3 staff. So
it's just a nice way, and it also shows your commitment to the group. And
well, it's kind of like they're all connected somehow. And
exactly. Through you and Tribe Research.
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoy it.
So you're trying to make this as an experience working for.
I think also for me it's so fulfilling seeing where staff who have worked for you while they're at university, where their careers go. I love being able to talk to them and find out what they're doing now and what skills they learnt when they were working for me and that they're still using later on. I think that's a fantastic feeling.
Thank you. What are your next plans?
Next plans, we're currently in the process of moving the business into the cloud completely. So I'm currently changing my whole team to being, currently don't have any team, and we're moving into hiring a new team that are all going to be virtual. So it's a really exciting time. One of the reasons I started my own business was to have flexibility, and I think having a virtual team allows you to work when it suits you.
Can you just explain to the
Everyone?
listener,
Yeah.
what you mean by a virtual
team? Yeah, it just means people can work from home or work in cafes. They don't have to turn up at an office at 9 o'clock and, you know, be expected to stay till 5 o'clock kind of thing.
Thank you very much for sharing
Thank you.
your story with us. You watched Women as Entrepreneurs with Orsi and Kate Tribe. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.